You there? Okay, we've got it.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I have a very long title for this proposal, which I sent a few months ago, and I was hoping to have the much of the work done by now, but the summer, and as you know, had changed some of our plans, and I'll concentrate on the background of this idea and the motivation which led to this. I'll briefly tell about my background. I am a classically trained artist. I started with the painting, and I have been working with computer graphics and later on interactive installations and kind of performance type work, which as you see on the screen, it's some snapshots from kind of performance which has been using generative graphics and kind of generated sound as well, and which was usually shown as 3D stereoscopic projection. I started my studies in painting in Riga and then further studied in Stockholm and Germany, Academy of Media Arts Cologne, where my focus were interactive audiovisual media. I have also, what I would like to mention, I have been involved in a number of collaborative projects which have been also some kind of a fusion of my artistic input and research from other people. There was one project I would like to mention that was called Cartographic Command Center, which was kind of a paraphrase to the military supervision systems and kind of a technology which is often kind of left behind the screen, and it was presented as a artwork which kind of put together like a big mosaic, putting several artworks together in a larger projection screen where people could navigate and choose different kind of modes. During my studies in Academy of Media Arts in Cologne, I also did the collaborative work, which has, I think, importance for my presentation, which was using sort of feedback loop between human vision as a some kind of physiological voice of the person, and it was custom built apparatus consisting of a helmet, which we did the kind of adjusting old EEG device, and we translated into kind of a hybrid biological and digital nervous system. And through this work, I would like to touch upon one of the keywords. The first keyword of my presentation is the flow state from Csikszentmihalyi, as most of you probably know, and the balance between the challenge and enjoyment and stress and despair. I found it really characteristic to online trading, and I have been also doing a little bit of trading myself. Some of the people have been hooked up for some time with cryptocurrencies, which are actually, I'm luckily now past. I just observed this whole ecosystem and the kind of a society phenomena, and I noticed that there is within a specific disciplines, whether it is creative work or it is work which demands concentration, Indeed, I have experienced myself this fluctuation between the different states, which through my experience as a multimedia artist and work with complex systems. One of them was, for example, research project with about interactive television. So I was trying to find also some different kind of metaphors which would be helpful to kind of explore this theme more. And a couple of years ago, also found this term ideesthesia, which is coined by researcher Danko Nikolic, and he proposes this term as a kind of a description for phenomena which is actually it's a kind of concepts that produce phenomenal experience. So there is an article called Anesthesia and Art where he tried to kind of develop this idea further, because he actually said that he got a lot of positive feedback from different artists to his proposal. And when we come back to another chart, which kind of tries to explain as a kind of proposal that there is continuum of these kind of between the experience and the meaning. And so I would like to bridge this idea further to the other keyword, of, as a kind of sense which is usually maybe first experiences were from natural elements, and further on to kind of human created architectural or music or religious devices for to kind of impress people. And so we have another Eiffel Tower. There is coming back to financial markets, that there are not only historic, but also I would say this is kind of a zeitgeist of our time, and with that a lot of media and technological tendencies, they are kind of manipulated by public enthusiasm and greed, of course, and the different phases of new products or new ideas. They kind of experience this big shift of between enthusiasm and yeah, probably ultimate despair and or so. Going further to the financial networks, I got inspired by the idea that actually it's a kind of process which goes on 24 hours a day, and every day, when it is about kind of especially currency trading, and you have a lot of parameters changing, and there have been some efforts to kind of to make tools for traders and kind of to address this complexity. And my paper and the project actually tries to kind of bridge these extremes of usability and fascination, which has no actually kind of usable utility. So when we explore further, there were with the arrival of virtual reality and 3D graphics. There were, of course, a number of efforts to kind of promote as a sort of next level of trading efficiency, and there were a number of projects which tried to kind of propose the 3D environments or immersive environments as some kind of improved version of control. And some of the typical proposals were actually kind of using metaphor of the city or kind of a physical space that kind of depict the multiplicity of parameter change, but they usually, you see you have to follow maybe sometimes not just one or two stock changes, but a number of parameters which kind of show the interrelationship. I'm just showing a couple more examples, and I noticed that there have been kind of usually they stayed around this kind of just sort of trying to kind of grow the third dimension out, or out of this 2D representation, which was usually in kind of typical terminals for the traders. There have been a number of artworks actually who kind of, in my opinion, there's something between this kind of usability and the kind of fascination. The projects which some of you might know, the traders from Rhizomatics, from a Japanese collective, they used also the kind of space as a expression. And another project is where the people were trying to kind of bridge into area which is called Auditive Displays. And there's one example where the different they trade statistics of the specific dates that were kind of translated into tones. And I don't know if you hear the sound, but the meaning is that actually the sound was changing and kind of going higher pitch day by day, and in the end it was kind of high pitched tone. And it was, for me, it was another example of some kind of a shift away from usability and into kind of sublime experience. Here is another example from Artist Dua. Sorry for forgetting the credits, which were actually displaying the exchange trades as a kind of shimmering starry light. And there was no letters, no numbers, just a kind of pulsating, vibrating sky. And the artists actually told there was, I think that they were showing at some specific time when there was some kind of big crash, and that suddenly there was some kind of big black sky, and then suddenly all the sky kind of lit up as almost white. And but this is again an example you can experience as a kind of a non-informative journey through the through the process. Okay, here there's this example from Rhizomatics. Okay, there have been a number of other efforts to kind of use the potential of immersive space, and there is a project by two researchers at Rensselaer Polytechnic, and as you see, it's written that visualization of stock markets, where they connected 128 companies, which actually was fitting to the 128 loudspeakers in this immersive environment, and they were kind of trying to group them and in some kind of landscape which was descriptive. So when we analyze these the data streams and of course we are all familiar with this, let's say, basic principle that there is a value of say, let's say, certain stock or currency which goes up and down, but there is also a number of other parameters which modern trading systems, they kind of extract from this data, from this time series data, and there is a number of specific indicators that they're using to show the intensity of the trades and changes of fluctuations, which of course the main all of it's done just with the main aim to predict what will happen in the future. This is something I would say, as it was fascinating me as well, as some kind of in a way kind of almost pseudoscience between which is something between the mathematics and almost kind of voodoo, because even traders themselves, they say that all these patterns, they are somehow, you know, it's kind of a speculation. Yeah, I have just a few minutes left actually. I would like to mention that I'm working on a project which will use different levels of interaction, starting from the lower. It's a kind of elements of connecting audiovisual elements together, and then moving further up is to kind of creating like a interactive score and dramaturgy, which will be kind of presented over a specific amount of time as a performance, maybe 20 minutes or 30-minute performance. And I'm working on a on a kind of prototypes which use the kind of emphasizing the grid of the space as a language, and it takes data from these freely accessible data from these online trades, and I'm building some kind of a extended sensorium that takes it shifts between these two extremes of kind of utility, understandable representation, and this extreme experience of the process which go beyond the kind of understandable representation. And these are the work, as I said, is still in work in progress, and I would propose for those who might be interested to follow this webpage. Next week there is this online festival called Everything Flows, and I will make I think 2 days next week kind of 20 or 30-minute performance using 3D environment and streaming as a streaming video. And these are my contacts and webpage. So I'm finished. I have finished here today. So if there's some questions, we could use 1 minute.
Jānis, thank you very much. First of all, when we programmed this bit, I hadn't really figured that we were going to have 2 presentations in a row that both made numbers look so incredibly beautiful. And the data visualization on this one is quite outstanding. There's an interesting chat comment here. Let me just see if I can get that back, which is, there we go. Yeah. Fania and Dave, who were on last, I'm going to read out what they said. These are wonderful data visualizations, interesting comparison with the historic black shoals, galaxies. IRC the name correctly. I can't quite read that.
I recall the name correctly.
Right, okay. There's a question also from Anna, who was a previous speaker. I was intrigued by the presence of the term boredom in your first chart. Can you expand on the role you see it performing? Do you intend it in the same sense of its creative potential?
I think this is kind of standard kind of mapping of the extremes of the flow state, and but I think there have been actually a couple of projects who have been using this kind of state of relaxation. Maybe some of you know this brain ball, where you have to be relaxed to kind of win. It's kind of impossible dichotomy, but I think this is probably I'm interested in the kind of experiencing, showing the range between these extremes. So I hope that my artwork will be boring, at least for some time, but not too long. So that's a trick, you know, to somehow experience it. So, but the boredom, it can be also part of excitement, I think, and it's part of the dramaturgy over a longer time of period. I think this has its place.
Excellent. I mean, it does occur to me that with all of this knowledge you must have, can you help artists to make money without having to apply for boring grants?
I think they probably the future artificial intelligence agents might help it with hopefully benign reasons, with benign.
Well, sounds a safe place to start. Thank you ever so much indeed, Jānis. That's a lovely